Hi, this is John Okoro. Welcome to this week's Auspicious Agile video blog post. This week we're going to talk about Agile and Martial Arts, Shu, Ha, and Ri. Now, a couple questions may come to mind for you immediately. One, what does Agile have to do with martial arts? And two, what is Shu, Ha, Ri? So we're going to try to have a little fun with this and take a look at how these are related in this week's blog. So first, let's start with those who are familiar with Aikido or maybe another martial art may know the Shu Ha Ri approach to training. Martin Fowler explains the connection to Agile in an article that's quite good on the topic, and Alistair Cockburn introduced it as a way of thinking about software methods. Now, let's look at the Shu first. So Shu, here's a kanji character for Shu. And in Shu, it's a beginning where the learner learns the rule and follows it without varying it in any way. This can be likened to someone learning Scrum or Kanban or Safe or Less, etc. for the first time. This would not be the time to try to vary and experiment with new approaches, but rather to learn the fundamentals of the approach. Learn the rule without variation. The next phase that we have after Shu is the Ha. Now in Ha, this is where the martial arts learner begins to break the basic rule, experimenting with the improvements and variations in their practice of the martial art. In Agile, this may be, for example, where in the Telstra case study, this is one from the Scaled Agile Framework website. This is Telstra is an Australian provider of mobile and telecom. And they use Scaled Agile Framework, but they didn't use the PI planning, which is the program increment planning. So that happens every 10 to 12 weeks, but they did not use it in their case, using an early version of SAFe. Or this could be a Scrum team that starts using backlog grooming as a regular ceremony, even though it's not defined as one in Scrum. The point here is to trying some level of variation on the rule and seeing what works. Next, we come to Ri. This is where the learner becomes the master, becomes the rule. They actually become the rule like Bruce Lee, who created his own martial art form. In Agile, this would be when a very experienced practitioner actually defines their own approach based on what has come before. So, examples of this would be the Agile scaling area is a very good example, where you have Dean Leffingwell with a scaled Agile framework and his practice that became components in the core of that, or Scott Ambler with disciplined Agile delivery, or with Larman and Vode with the LESS or large-scale Scrum. At this point, the practitioner becomes the rule. They're learning from their own practice. They're not just learning from the rule that they had learned before. Now, that said, I'd like to make a few notes on this. First, I think that in many cases, there's a human tendency is to assume that we are more advanced than we actually are, thinking maybe that we're in Ri instead of that when we're actually in Ha, or that we're in Ha, we're actually in Shu. And this would mean trying to become the rule for Ri, when in reality we should be experimenting because we're in Ha with the existing rule, always learning that approach of Kaizen, we call it continuous improvement from Lean. So we're always trying to learn, and we should maybe be in that phase rather than trying to become the rule because we're not quite ready for that. This could take the form of a newly minted Scrum Master who's done one project, now assuming that they will redefine the entire approach to agility for an entire enterprise. Now, I would say kudos on the confidence of this new Scrum Master, but probably not a realistic goal based on the skills and experience. As many of you know, it really takes working with many Scrum teams just to start understanding team-level Scrum, and enterprise is something that is far more complex than that. So, a lot to learn from martial arts as we look at Agile and Shu Ha Ri. I hope this gives you a interesting look at the connection between the two. I will try to include in the links the article by Martin Fowler on the topic as well. And please do subscribe You can do so on YouTube if you're interested in getting updates to the most recent Auspicious Agile video blogs. So until next time, stay agile, and thanks for listening.